Hi aviation lovers! My name is Rina. You're on the GSTMGNG channel where we explore the skies, share aviation insights, and dive deep into the reality of cabin crew life. Today I choose a topic that is favorite for many girls, relationship. And I will answer the question, is it actually possible to be in a healthy relationship as a flight attendant, or you need to sacrifice your personal life if you want to travel the world? Spoiler alert, I'm married, so yes, that's possible, but it comes with its challenges. Sounds intriguing? Then fasten your seatbelt, because we are flying right into it. When I was writing the scenario to this video, I saw the text and I was like, wow, that's too long. So I decided to divide it into two parts, and today's video gonna be about general challenges that you will definitely meet as a flight attendant, no matter which airlines you're gonna choose, big international airlines or just a regional one. And in the part 2 we're gonna discuss more specifically how is it to be in a relationship as a flight attendant over Middle East airlines like Emirates, Qatar, Etihad, Fly Dubai. Like, it doesn't matter, it's just a question of being a flight attendant for the Middle East airlines. But today is everything about the challenges and even advantages of being in a relationship as a flight attendant. Let's start with the most obvious challenge, like an elephant in the room, time apart. It doesn't matter which airline you work for, a small regional airline or a huge international airline with many layovers, quite often you'll be apart from your partner, because even if your airline doesn't have layovers, you still gonna have a night flight, you're gonna fly during weekend, and you're gonna have like an early morning flight, and you won't see your partner as often as possible, especially if your partner has 9 to 5 job. And that's the reason for many couples to be emotionally disconnected, because even if you're present, both of you, during the weekend, but you're coming back from a night flight, super exhausting flight, exhausting layover, or just a night flight, you spend the whole night working and you don't really want to talk to anyone, even your partner, because you're just tired and you want to sleep. But your partner is full of energy and he or she doesn't really know how is it to work during the night, to communicate with hundreds of people, so they might not understand how tired you are and that you just want to maybe lay down with a partner, watch some movies, but not to have like a deep conversation. And that's a problem for many couples, especially if you are in the aviation and your partner has nothing in common with aviation, so they don't really understand how is it. As I told you, I'm married and both me and my husband in aviation industry, and my husband used to work as a flight attendant as well. But I joined Emirates before him, and we actually had, I wouldn't say that we had fights because of that, but I felt that before he knew how was it to work as a flight attendant, he didn't really understand me, how challenging and tiring it is, and we had this emotional disconnection sometimes. And straight away to the challenge number 2, communication. Communication is a key of any relationship, and it might be difficult to communicate, not only because of being emotionally disconnected, but as well because there are like a real disruption of communication, which could be the time zones. If you're working for international airlines and you have a layover somewhere, especially somewhere far, and you have a big difference in the time zones, that's actually quite difficult to communicate with your partner, especially if it's like 12-11 hours different. You have a morning, your partner has evening, or you want to chat and he already in train in the morning and he want to sleep. So that's quite challenges as well when you're on a flight, and if it's an ultra long flight like 14, 12, 16, depends where you're going. you're not present and you can't chat with your partner even to write a small message because you don't have a Wi-Fi connection. Some airlines does Wi-Fi connections, but I would say that most of the time you cannot send even a small message to your partner during a flight, and some airlines do prohibit to use your personal device. And even when you arrive at your destination, sometimes you cannot send that message to your partner as well because you don't have a roaming, or you don't want to spend the money on roaming, or even when you're in a hotel, there might be a disruption with Wi-Fi connection, depends which country that. Sometimes I had those kind of problem. Either Wi-Fi was chargeable or I was in a country where we had like difficulties with internet connection, like China, where it's firewall, and I didn't have a VPN for China, so I was not present until the time I arrived to Dubai, like back to Dubai. So sometimes there are problem in communication also because of those reasons. The joy of unpredictable roster is romantic, but when you're single, when you're in a relationship, that's a challenge because, for example, you're planning a date night with your partner, but then boom, roster change. My heart always wanted to jump out of my chest just because I saw that message, you have changes in your roster, and it impacted my personal life because you cannot plan anything. Basically, you have a roster every month for the next month, but you can't plan anything ahead. Maybe your leave, but even your leave, you don't know either you're gonna have a days off and how many days off before and after your leave. So that's quite difficult to predict and plan anything only like 1 month ahead, but sometimes you're on reserve, so you cannot plan anything during reserve as well because they might call you for a flight any moment, or you have a stable roster but still operational reasons, so they might change your flight to another one and it will also impact your plans. Yes, you have a days off, and if you're not on reserve, they can't touch your days off, right? But even with that, you need to plan some of your rest according to your flights, and if there are going to be changes with your flight, you will need to rearrange your rest. So it will impact your personal life because not every person wants to have a partner who is that unpredictable, and that might be a challenge for many relationships. And now, let's be honest, layovers can be a real test for relationships because even if you trust your partner, you can have that expectation of layovers, especially because of movies and TV series where they show a wild layovers where crew have a lot of fun. I mean, crew have a lot of fun during the layovers, but there are many stereotypes of them and how pilots and flight attendants behave on those layovers. So your partner, even if your partner trusts you, layovers are the test for the relationship. So it really depends how you will present, how you communicate with your partner during the layovers, but still, like, it could be a huge challenge. Also, from my own experience, like, I trust my partner trusts me, but still we were arguing sometimes because you trust your partner, but you don't trust everyone in that group of people, especially in like a honeymoon destination or a crazy destination like Bangkok, Mauritius, Seychelles. Like, a lot of crazy stuff happened there, and especially if your partner is not from the aviation industry, they might be even jealous because you have those kind of layovers and your partner doesn't, and as well because crew have fun there, and that's a stereotype, but some people do have fun there. So that's a test for your relationship. And then to the challenge that impact not only your relationship with your partner, but also with your family, friends, and like any relationship you have in your life. You're gonna be missing milestones like forgot to be present on all birthday, holidays, weddings, like any important event. Quite many of the time you won't be present there, also because you can't plan anything in advance. You might ask for a priority leave for a special event, like a wedding, for example, but some of those events you won't be present. For example, during my 5 years with Emirates, I was flying every Christmas night, so I was not with my family and friends, and that's quite frustrating. And you miss them, and your partner, your family, your friends miss you as well during those special events. And I would say that you lose a big part of your life when you miss like those events. But that's the reality of a flight attendant life. You're not in control of your roster. Like, it's operational reasons. Someone should fly during those days, New Year's Eve, your birthday, Easter, Christmas. So yes, you can miss them. You will miss them. And not every partner want you to be missed during those events. Like, no one wants, but for some relationship it's a huge challenge, and you need to work on your relationship if you want them to work. Like, that sounds funny, but it is what it is. But don't be afraid that if you work as a flight attendant and you're single now, means automatically that you won't find the love of your life and you won't be in any husband relationship, or you will sacrifice your personal life for travel, for this job. That's not true, and I didn't want to start with the perks of being a flight attendant for the relationship, and I started with the challenges first. But there are also a nice part of this job that can actually help your relationship. First things first, romantic adventure and travel perks. On my other videos, I was saying that every flight attendant, not only flight attendant, but anyone who works for the airlines, they do actually have like a travel perks. They have discounted ticket with a mother airline, and they have discounted ticket with other airlines. And it depends how big your airlines. If it's a small regional airline, you could have like 30 airlines with discounts. But if it's like ultra luxurious airlines, or huge airlines like Emirates or Qatar, you have, I think, discounts with almost any airlines in the world. And you have those discounts also for your family members, so your kids and your partner, your parents as well. But even if you're not married but in a relationship, you can buy those discounted tickets for your friends. So you can buy your partner ticket as a friend and go somewhere on a romantic adventure. That's definitely not something that exists in every relationship, because airlines tickets are quite expensive, and you can randomly just go for a weekend to Paris because those tickets are quite affordable, and that's not that expensive to go there. Like, you, of course, you need to pay for the hotel there, but at least part of a ticket is quite affordable. So definitely that puts some fire into your relationship, and those travel adventure for sure will make everything better. I told you at the challenge part of this video that you don't have a routine and you can't plan anything in advance, but actually for many people that's an advantage of this job, even for the relationship, because there is no routine. So you're not stuck on the same thing you're doing all over and over again. You sometimes can spend your date night, morning date, or lunch date, and you always have some stories from your personal life that you can share with your partner. You can take your partner for the adventure. So yes, you can't plan anything in advance, like more than 1 month, but there is no routine in your relationship, and that helps. The distance makes the heart grow fonder. I don't know if it's true, but for many relationships, those time apart could even make it stronger. The reason is because you don't take the time when you're together for granted. As I tell you before, quite many of the time you're not with each other, and you're flying, you're on layover, or you're just flying during the weekend. So every time when you're reunited, you have like a mini celebration and you spend a quality time together. As well, you respect each other independency, you respect each other's hobbies, and you have a time for your hobby. If you're a flight attendant, you have a time for your hobby during the layovers, and if you're a partner of a pilot or a flight attendant and you stay at home, you have a lot of time for your hobbies when your partner away, and that's also could straight your relationship. So not always it's super difficult to be in a relationship with a person who is in aviation, the pilot or flight attendant. Yes, it's not that easy, and you need to communicate, you need to spend a quality time together when you are together. You need to have a common hobbies, you need to go for a date, and basically both of you should have the same goal and work on your relationship. But it's not only on aviation. If you want for your relationship to work, you need to communicate with your partner, you need to do something for it to work. That's obvious. Here's the thing, no relationship is perfect and every couple meet its own challenges, and it doesn't matter if you work in aviation industry or not. Yes, when you work as a flight attendant, you meet the challenges that not every other person have, like time apart or communication challenges because of the Wi-Fi connection or roaming. But you need to just work on your relationship and they will work as well. You don't need to sacrifice your personal life for travel. Yes, it's not that easy, but it's possible, like based on my own experience. And that's what the challenges that are common for every flight attendant, doesn't matter if it's a regional airlines or international airline. And in the second video, we're gonna discuss more specifically how is it to work as a flight attendant for Middle East airlines and the challenges that are specific just for that region. And in that video, I'll share many of my own personal stories and my friends' personal stories. So this one is more like a general stuff, but the fun part is gonna be on part 2 of this video. So don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel because it gives me motivation to do more of such videos. And I believe I see you soon. Bye!